Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy and thrilled to have you here. This is our third day in our meditation series of being highly meditated. Hi, Lacey. So we took a little break over the weekend, and then we had a holiday. For those of you that are parents, you probably had children that are home. If that's too loud, let me know, and I can turn that down. All right. So today's topic is yoga meditation. We started out our series with our first video on mindful meditation. This is going to be another variation of mindful meditation. So yes, yoga can be used as a form of meditation. When we think of yoga, we think of it more as something we do to get in shape or to lose weight, to get those muscles nice and stretched and elongated. But there's a lot of history and ancient history that has to do with what yoga is and what it does and what it can do for the body and the mind and the spirit. So it's something that encompasses all three. And it is a form of meditation. It is a form of mindful meditation. During a yoga meditation or yoga practice, you are concentrating on your mind, your thoughts. The focus is really emphasized on the body and the movement. And so we are not thinking about all of that outside noise. And there's many forms of meditation, but today we are going to be talking about yoga. And I'm going to go over some of the history of yoga with you, just so that you have the background. If you see me look away, I'm just referring to my notes. So some of the history of yoga is very fascinating. The earliest writings of yoga were done actually on palm leaves. And these palm leaves were really fragile or broke or got lost very easily. So a lot of that stuff was damaged over time. But the development of yoga can be traced back to about 5,000 years. And there are some researchers that believe that it goes back as far as 10,000 years. So yoga is broken down into 4 different time periods. The first one being your pre-classical yoga. The earliest yoga that we have discovered was developed by the Indus Saraswati tribe or civilization in northern India. And it was discovered in something called the Rig Veda. And the Rig Veda is one of the oldest ancient sacred texts that contained songs and mantras and rituals used by the Brahmas, which were Vedic priests. There is actually where the word yoga was first mentioned. They were found in these Vedic texts by these priests and mystic seers. And what they did was they started to develop and document their practices in something called the Upanishads. And it was a huge work containing over 200 scriptures. And the most renowned yogic scriptures that are known today is something called the Bhagavad Gita, which most people have heard of. But this Bhagavad Gita was written in 500 BCE, so it's very old. This was the idea that your rituals, or the sacrifice of your rituals, was taken from the Vedas and added to the Upanishads. And this taught ego through self-knowledge, action, and wisdom. The next time period that we hear more about yoga, or where some of these techniques started to differentiate, was a couple centuries, or in the 2nd century. And this was developed by someone by the name of Patanjali. And he created what is called today as the Yoga Sutras. And this was a melting pot of different beliefs, ideas, along with techniques that oftentimes contradicted each other. But these Yoga Sutras were first introduced in the 2nd century, and it describes the path of Raja Yoga. Now, Pantajali, organized the practices of yoga into 8 different limbs, and that's what we really know a lot in today's modern yoga that we hear about. And these 8 different limbs, when combined together, were the steps to be taken to reach samadhi or enlightenment. And these yoga sutras, as I said before, are what actually influence our modern day yoga that we know about today. So from there we move into what's called classical yoga, and this is a few centuries later, and I'm sorry, this is now the post-classical yoga. Got a little confused. And this is where the development of Tantra yoga comes into play. And most of us have heard about Tantra yoga, but not entirely sure what that is. And this was a new system that rejected the teachings of those ancient Vedas. And it introduced new techniques that cleansed the mind and the body, which freed us from our physical bodies itself. Now, these physical spiritual practices are what led to the creation in the West of what we know as Hatha Yoga. Excuse me. I apologize. Sometimes these things happen. I happen to have a 4-year-old who is at home sick today. So, where we left off, we were discussing post-classical yoga. This is where the creation of what we know today as Hatha Yoga, where Tantra Yoga has now come into play centuries later after this whole thing started. From there, we go right into modern yoga, what we know of as today. And how that happened was in the late 1800s and 1900s, yoga masters started traveling west from India, and they were bringing with them lectures on yoga and the universal different religions and the world's religions and the universality of those religions. It's also when the first yoga school opened on the Ganges River. And the Ganges River is a very spiritual place in India. And so from there, 3 teachers were produced from the first school. And they would be who would continue the legacy of Krishnamacharya. I think I said that right. I might have butchered it. And then from there, hundreds of books have been written about yoga. Yoga centers have since opened up all over around the world. And in 1947, Indra Devi opened the first yoga studio in Hollywood. So now it's being brought all the way to Hollywood in 1947. And the popularity of Hatha Yoga is what we really see in the West, which has grown tremendously. Today, Hatha Yoga has many schools promoting all kinds of different styles and aspects of the yoga practice. But going back to yoga as a meditation, when we quiet our bodies and our minds, we leave room for wonderful things to come in. And while you are practicing your yoga as a meditation, you are able to reach higher enlightenment or spiritual connection, or that out-of-body feeling, by focusing on your breath and the movement and the flow of energy through your body. So I want to take a little bit of time now to do a short, heart-centered meditation. If you happen to be sitting anywhere near or on a yoga mat, I would ask that you sit Indian style on the floor and make your back nice and straight by rolling back those shoulders and getting comfortable, imagining that your spine is nice and tall and the space between your vertebrae is nice and open, and we're going to allow for some wonderful energy to come through. And we're going to sit in the prayer position. So if you would please bring your hands up into the prayer position to your heart. And what we're going to do is just acknowledge our heart by bringing our head to our hands. And being very grateful for what the day has brought to us. So if you would with me, close your eyes and let's meditate just a little bit. To get nice and relaxed, I want you to take a big deep breath in through the nose and a cleansing breath out through the mouth. We'll do this 3 times. One more time. And a 3rd time. And as we sit here together, just being grateful for the day, grateful that the sun has come up again, that we are here together and have this wonderful ability to connect with each other. And as we let our bodies relax, giving thanks to our heart and our heart space, allowing that loving energy to flow in and out, and to feel that love coming from that heart space. Allow it to flow through your body. And every time you take a breath in, imagine a warm green light filling your heart space. And with every breath, it filling more and more of your body. And just feeling warm and loved and relaxed and grateful. Your back is nice and tall. If you feel like you are starting to lean forward, just roll your shoulders back again. Let that nice green light fill the spaces between your vertebrae. And smile during your meditation. This brings happiness. And just be in the moment. Allow your thoughts to come in and pass by. Focus on your breathing. I am made for today. Today's a beautiful day. I'm already winning. I'm full of gratitude and love. And that warm green light is continuing to flow throughout, in and out through the heart space. And all is well. Bring your thought process back to your heart space. Allow that green light to be drawn back into the heart. And give thanks to yourself. You made it another day. And as we open our eyes, keeping our hands in the prayer position, giving thanks again to our heart, namaste. Thank you all for being here. How do you feel? I hope you're feeling more enlightened. I hope that you are gaining some knowledge and some insight as to what meditation really is. There's no wrong way to do it. And as we continue through this journey together, we'll discover new forms of meditation that might fit better in your lifestyle. So as I leave you today, I will leave you with the same thing I leave you with every day. Let's make today the best day ever by living in the moment and being present in your lives. And make tomorrow even greater by setting your intentions for really wonderful things to happen for you, and they will.